This year, we wanted to do something special for Memorial Day, and we invited our friends to share their stories with us about their loved ones. We would also love to hear your story about your loved one as well. So please feel free to share your memory in the comments thread of this video.
This is my son, Corporal Frank Robert Gross. He was killed in Afghanistan 16 July 2011 in an IED attack. He was a great kid and a very good friend. Everything that I like to do, Frankie liked to do: hunt, fish, golf. Just about anything that I did, Frankie did with me. When he came home and told me that he was going in the Army and he was going NCO, he could have been an officer because he had his master's degree. But he wanted to be NCO, and he said, "Dad, when I become an officer, my guys will know that I've been where they're at." That's just the kind of the kid that he was. He was strong-willed, but he was also very quiet, very reserved, hard worker. And just about everything that he did at the best of his ability. He did 110%. He graduated from boot camp and was the #1 marksman in his whole unit. He shot 39 out of 40 bullseyes. And then he went to Fort Gordon in Georgia, where he graduated at the very top of his class. And then he was transferred to Fort Hood, where he became a member of the 504th Battlefield Brigade, Charlie Troop, 38th Cav, and then he was deployed in June of 2011. And on the 16th of July, 2011, I can still remember being in my driveway, and I heard 2 doors close. And I turned around and I looked, and there was 2 soldiers coming my way. And I knew instantly what they were there for. I asked them to please wait till my wife got home so that they could tell us both that our son had perished in the war. And there's not a day that goes by that we don't miss Frankie. And he was buried in Arlington National Cemetery, Section 60, gravesite number 8311, with full military honors. And I delivered Frankie when he was born. I cut his umbilical cord. I wrapped him up and handed him to his mom. And on the same day that he was born, was the very same day that we buried him, August 19th. And it was at the very same hour that he was born. You can't write a book like that. So that's the Reader's Digest story of my son. And as I said, there's not a day that goes by that we don't miss him. We had such a great relationship. And I do miss the golf, because he would beat me every time. I miss the fishing. I miss going surfing with him in Puerto Rico or wherever, Southern California. But I know that one of these days, the Lord has promised that we will meet again.
This is my grandfather. His name is Michael Ansell. He was in World War II. An interesting story about him is he really wanted to join the war. However, when he was a young child, he had polio. And so one of his legs was a couple inches shorter than the other. And every day he went down to the recruiting office to try to enlist into the Army. And he was repeatedly told over and over again that he did not qualify due to his disability. But that did not stop him. He kept going back over and over and over again. And finally, when the war got pretty bad, they enlisted him. And he was actually in the invasion at Normandy. And he was one of the fortunate survivors. So was able to come home, get married, have my mom, her older sister, and several grandchildren.
This is in memory of my father, Henry Mack, who I recently lost on December 23rd. I love you, Dad. This is actually my grandfather's flag, Jesse Schaefer, who retired from the U.S. Army, and we were presented this flag when he passed away. Since I recently lost my father, my mom had a plate made for my father and added it to this and presented it to me. So I am now the proud owner of my grandfather and my father's flag.
This is a picture of my dad. He was a service airman in World War II, and probably one of his first loves, which was the PBY 5A, doing reconnaissance. He died in 2008 on Valentine's Day, the year before my mom died, and I think he kind of died of a broken heart.
This is a picture of my son, Gene Adam Pearson. He served for 4 years on the USS Red Beach in Cape May, New Jersey. He was a mechanic on the Coast Guard cutter. And this May 19th, he would be 46 years old. He was killed while riding his motorcycle. And I have gone on in his memory to do Look Twice, Save a Life. Motorcycles are everywhere in his memory.
This is my grandfather, Joseph Charles Jones Sr. He was in the Army during World War II, stationed in Germany. And we want to thank him for his service and tell everyone that we miss him greatly and love him dearly.
This is my dad, Nicholas Luiso. He was a private first class during World War II, and his love was music, and that enabled him to be in one of the Army bands where he was stationed. He died in 2001, and I miss him every day.
I am here today to honor Terry Lee Downer, someone very close to my heart, Lance Corporal of the Marine Corps. He served in the Vietnam War for about 2 years when he was around 21 years old. I know that Terry enjoyed playing the mandolin and the guitar, and I would like to think that while he was in Vietnam, he found a guitar and was playing for his service members while they were there. He will be forever loved and remembered by his former wife, Robin, his son, Trey, and his grandchildren, Madison, Taylor, and Tanner, and of course, myself.
This is a memory of my grandfather, Robert Robinette. He served in the U.S. Air Force in World War II. He left us on August 25th, 2007. We all love him and miss him very much. I wish I could thank him again for his service for this country, and to all the veterans out there, thank you for your service and for what you do for our country and for all of us.
This is my father. This is James Ralph Billings. He retired from the U.S. Navy after 21 years of service, and I'm always proud to bring him up around other veterans and let them know that I had a family member that served quite some time and a lot of time away from his family. My dad raised 3 kids, and he had a great wife, Betty Jo Billings, and I come to appreciate more and more the time that he spent in the Navy, protecting our country, and raising a family. And I'd like to thank all my friends and family and all the people around that have family and friends that served, and maybe they didn't get to retire, and maybe they lost someone in their family. But I'm proud to say that I think I'm taking after my dad, James Ralph Billings, and be a proud American. Thanks.
What's amazing about Sam Huff is at 18 years old, she gave up a modeling career at the Gap to go fight for our nation. And tragically, she was killed in Iraq while driving a Humvee. And her dying words were to her mother, "I love you." And to her father, she wished him to finish his record, which he did, and he named the record Sun and Moon, which are the first 3 initials in her name. I go visit her every year at Arlington, and she's 50 feet away from another good friend of ours, and we can't forget these people and what they give up to fight for us.
Hello, this is my father, Brian York. He served for many years, World War II, Korea. Got out as an E9, passed away in 71 of cancer. My whole family has served with distinction, and I want to thank them and all the troops that serve. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Thomas Brown. I go by T-Man. I do veteran outreach in Hillsborough County, and I have a nonprofit called Tampa Homeless Outreach that covers Hillsborough and Pinellas County. I'm a veteran, a 10-year veteran, and served in the Army. And the picture I'm holding is a picture of my son, who's proudly serving in South Korea at this point. I'm in the streets every day looking for homeless vets to get them off the street. And I think the one that stick out the most in my mind is a veteran I have been working with for like 4 years. And one morning, I went to check on him and found him deceased. That kind of tore me up. If you see a veteran, please thank them for their service. If you see a homeless person, don't be disrespectful to them. They're humans just like everybody else. Be it a veteran or not, you don't know what somebody else is going through, so don't be disrespectful to them. I really cherish my brothers and sisters who served in the military and who are constantly serving, and this is what I do and will continue to do.
I am here to talk about my dad who served in the Vietnam War as a Marine. He taught me that finding your dream and fighting for it is what it's all about. One of my greatest memories of my dad and how his teachings have come down through me, he came to see my son race. And they did the national anthem, and I remember my son took his helmet off, and before the national anthem started, my son, with my dad standing there, kind of knocked his friends in the head that were standing with him because they left their helmets on. And he told them to take them off. My brother, who served with the United States Army, is also a veteran. Both of them make me proud to be American. America isn't free, people. It's not free. Freedom isn't free. And the people that we have that are willing to fight for our freedoms and fight for our right to be able to live life the way we see fit is what it's all about. Remember that, and thank those who you see who are willing to fight for you even though they don't know you.
For spacious skies, for amber ways of grain, for purple mountains' majesty, above the fruited plain. America, America, God shed His grace on thee, and crown thy good with brotherhood from sea to shining sea.